Good afternoon, students. Today we will see about uh, we are continue with the clinical management of diabetes. So basically, it was in a three part, that was diet and exercise, or it is called nutritional management. Second was the oral anti-diabetic agents, or LA anti-diabetic drugs, and third one was insulin therapy. So last class you've seen about this diet and nutrition, along with how what are the drugs and what are the types of the drugs which are using to control the diabetes. Among that, the first one category drug is biguanides. So basically, in biguanides category, the metformin is a choice of a drug which is routinely practiced in throughout the country, and it is the only drug which is presently available in the market which does not causing the hypoglycemia. Because whenever we start with the clinical management of hyperglycemia, there is obvious chances that it goes beyond the uh, primary physiological limit. Physiological, then hypoglycemia is also one kind of a pathology, so that has to be keep in mind. But this is the only choice of a drug which does not causing the hypoglycemia. Now mode of action will be increase the glucose uptake and utilization in the skeletal muscle, thereby reducing your insulin resistance and same time reducing the hepatic glucose production by process known as gluconeogenesis, and ultimately it leads to control your glycemic level. And pharmacologic action of this, the half life is about 3 hours, and it is excreted unchanged in the urine. Now there are certain side effects of these drugs, which includes GI disturbances, lactic acidosis, and long term interfere with. Side effect will be lactic acidosis is rare but potentially a fatal toxic effect. Long term, there will be a decrease with the absorption of vitamin B12, and which is leads to development of a sensorium or sensory effect on the distal limb, especially the ankles and the wrist. The drug cannot be used in the renal conditions, aquatic disorders, and heart failure or heart shock. These are the contraindication of this biguanides or metformin drugs. Now the other drug of category was insulin secretaceous drugs. In that already we have two types, sulfonylureas and non-sulfonylureas. So it obviously both of actions will be inhibit the potassium ATP channel of beta cells. In that we have a two category of drugs, first generation and second generation. In first generation we have a tolbutamide, acetohexamide, tolazamide, and clopropamide. These are the first category, first generation of drugs. And second generation we have a glycoside, glyburide, and glimepiride, which is a secondary drugs. Now hypoglycemia is the most common and most serious adverse effect of this drug associated with SU therapy or sulfonylureas therapy. Weight gain and will be considered as your classical side effect of SUs. Contraindication, obviously there are renal failure and renal failure, both this is contraindicated, and most of the sulfonylureas crossing your placenta and entering the breast milk. As a result, the use of SU therapy in mother with lactating as well as pregnant woman cannot take this SU drugs. Now the type 2B, that is a non-SU secretaceous drug. In that, meglitinides is the most common use of drugs. Mode of action is same as SU, that is inhibit the potassium ATP channel in the beta cells, and action of onset is very fast, rapidly metabolized by the liver, and peak effect within the 1 hour. The duration of the total effect will be 5 to 8 hours. Short duration of action and low risk of hypoglycemic agents. Medication in this class is rapidoglinide and netiglinide. These are the two drugs which are most commonly used in the non-SU therapy. The next one is your TZD therapy that decrease the insulin resistance by making the muscles and adipose cell tissues more sensitive towards the insulin, and they also suppresses the hepatic glucose production, which ultimately controlling your glucose level. The side effect of this drug is weight gain, edema, and hypoglycemia if taken along with the combination of insulin therapy. Contraindication with the same, that is abnormal LFT and CHF, that is congestive heart failure. Medication in this class are the pioglitazone and rosiglitazone. These are the two drugs which is most commonly used in the non-SU therapy for treatment of diabetes. Fourth one category is alpha glucosidase inhibitors. These are the acarbose is a inhibitor of the intestinal alpha glucosidase enzyme, and mode of action will be delays the carbohydrate absorption and reducing the postprandial increase in the blood glucose level. Unwanted side effects will be flatulence, loose stools or diarrhea, and abdominal pain and bloating inside the abdomen. Like metformin, it is useful for the obese type 2 patients, and it can be co-administered with the help with metformin. So, along with these different four categories of drugs and different choice of the drugs depends on the what is the need and how the pathology has been extended in a subject, we choose a different group of drug. Depends on that, it can be a single therapy or monotherapy, or it's a combination of all three, two or four categories of drug, that is called as the combination therapy, and the other category is combination therapy with insulin. So there are certain criteria that how we have to start with the which therapy. So as the confirmation of the diagnosis comes, then we have to start with first therapeutic lifestyle changes along with your physical exercise and nutritional therapy. Now you have to first start with the monotherapy, but if it does not respond within the 3 months, then it will be start with the combination therapy. How and which we have to do, that we will see in the next. If glycemic control index or HbA1c is more than 6.5 percentage with lifestyle modification within the 1 to 3 months, then oral anti-diabetic agent should be initiated. It means till if the glycemic index is more than 6.5 and lifestyle modification is done and you are getting the result, then no need to start with any kind of oral antibiotic agent. But if it is beyond more than 3 months, then you have to start with the oral antibiotic agents. In the presence of marked hypoglycemia with newly diagnostic symptom and HbA1c is more than 8 percentage and FPG is more than 11.1 mol per liter, then oral antidiabetic agent can be considered at the outset together with the lifestyle modification is required. This is how the uses of monotherapy can be done in different protocols or different pathogenesis of diabetes.